On the night of February 13th, 2000, Asha Degree, a 9-year-old girl from Shelby, North Carolina, went to bed like any other night, unaware that the events of the following hours would change her life forever. It was supposed to be a regular night in her family's home, tucked safely in her bed. But by the early hours of February 14th, 2000, Asha was gone. When her parents woke, they found that their daughter was missing, and all signs pointed to the fact that she had left the house on her own in the middle of the night. There were no signs of forced entry or any indication of a struggle. Her parents, desperate and confused, quickly alerted law enforcement. It was around 6 a.m. when they realized that Asha was nowhere to be found. The case began as a typical missing persons investigation, but quickly turned into something much more perplexing and unsettling. Authorities and the community began a massive search, but Asha had disappeared without a trace. Later that morning, witnesses came forward reporting that they had seen a young girl, matching Asha's description, walking alone along Highway 18, nearly a mile from her home. The sightings were believed to have occurred around 3:45 a.m. to 4:15 a.m. One motorist even said they noticed her, and when they turned around to offer help, the girl had disappeared into the woods, leaving no sign of where she went. The question of why Asha left her home and what she was doing on that road at such a late hour became central to the investigation. Was she trying to run away? Did something or someone compel her to walk into the darkness? For the next few days, authorities launched a search that would expand to several counties. Bloodhounds were used to track any scent, but the trail went cold. It seemed as if Asha had vanished into thin air. The search went on for weeks, but there were no clues, and the community became more and more anxious with every passing day. It wasn't until August 2001, more than a year later, that a break in the case came when a construction worker found Asha's book bag buried in the dirt at a site about 30 miles away from her last confirmed sighting. The backpack, containing personal items like a book and t-shirt, raised more questions than answers. How had it gotten there, and why was it so far from where Asha had been last seen? Investigators tried to piece together a timeline, but each lead only led to more confusion. No one could explain how the backpack ended up there, and the mystery deepened. Asha's case has been one of the most puzzling and heartbreaking missing persons cases of the last few decades. Her disappearance left her family in agony, without any closure, still haunted by the uncertainty of what happened that night. Investigators have since speculated that Asha might have been the victim of foul play, and over the years, several theories have emerged, but none have led to a clear conclusion. There's still no answers. The question remains, where did Asha go that night, and what happened to her? Her case has remained unsolved, despite continuous efforts and reinvestigations. If you find yourself captivated by Asha's story, like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Where do you think Asha could have gone that night? Do you think she was taken, or did she run away? Let's get the conversation going. Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from and your thoughts on this case. In the months that followed Asha Degree's disappearance, the search for her intensified. Investigators, along with the local community, continued combing through Shelby, hoping for any sign of the young girl. But every lead turned out to be another dead end. Asha's family, devastated by the uncertainty, had no idea where their daughter was, and law enforcement had no clear answers. The haunting fact that Asha had vanished during the early morning hours without a single witness coming forward left everyone grasping at straws. The mystery deepened with the discovery of her book bag in August 2001, more than a year after she went missing. Found by a construction worker at a site in Burke County, about 30 miles away from her home, it was wrapped in plastic garbage bags and buried in dirt, a strange and eerie finding. Inside the book bag were items that didn't seem to make sense in relation to her disappearance. There was a t-shirt with a boy band logo, a book, and other personal items. The most disturbing part of this find was how far the book bag had been from Asha's last known location. Investigators were perplexed, unable to figure out how the bag ended up buried so far away, especially since there were no sightings of Asha near that area. As time went on, a deeper look into Asha's background began to provide more context. Asha Degree had been a straight-A student, quiet, shy, and well-liked by her classmates and teachers. She was known for her kindness and was often seen as a model student. She had a close-knit family, and there were no signs of family dysfunction or trouble at home that would suggest any motive for running away. But Asha was also known to have had a bit of fascination with her favorite boy band. Some experts would later speculate that this attachment to the band might have played a role in her decision to leave her home on the night she vanished, especially if she would try to run away and make her way somewhere to see them, or perhaps a particular member. But that theory also raised more questions. If she had decided to run away, why did she walk alone on a dangerous highway in the middle of the night? The sightings of Asha in the early hours of February 14th, 2000 were key. A school bus driver reported seeing a young girl walking on the highway, which was about a mile from her house. This was between 3:45 a.m. and 4:15 a.m., and while the bus driver didn't stop, the encounter was crucial. The motorist later said the girl had appeared to be walking in the direction of a wooded area, and when he turned around to offer help, the girl had disappeared. Asha was seen walking alone, wearing a t-shirt and jeans, with a book bag over her shoulder, but no one had any idea where she was headed. The problem for investigators was that there was no definitive explanation for why Asha would have left home at all. There were also no obvious signs of abduction or foul play at her house. Asha had simply vanished without a trace. The authorities were left grappling with a haunting uncertainty. No one had taken credit for her disappearance, and no ransom demands were made. The fact that Asha's book bag was found so far from her home added to the mystery. Could she have been abducted and then later discarded there? Or had she somehow wandered that far, alone and frightened, only to be lost in the wilderness? The more the investigators looked into it, the more questions they uncovered, and the fewer answers they had. As the years passed, the case grew colder, but not forgotten. The FBI joined the search, and they ran through all their usual investigative tactics, checking phone records, reviewing security footage from nearby stores, and tracking down any witnesses. They even looked into potential suspects in the area. The investigation eventually spread beyond just Shelby, but no significant leads came to light. Asha's family never gave up hope, though. They continued to keep her story alive, appearing on local news outlets, hoping for any new information. In 2016, more than 16 years after Asha's disappearance, there was a significant breakthrough in the case. Authorities began receiving tips suggesting that a local man who had been convicted of other crimes might have been involved. Although the authorities never publicly confirmed the identity of this man, rumors swirled that he might have had some knowledge of Asha's fate. This lead brought renewed attention to the case, but no physical evidence or confession ever linked him to the crime. The case of Asha Degree continued to haunt not only her family, but also the entire Shelby community, who still remember the little girl who walked alone on that highway. In recent years, there have been new calls for action, with advocates urging local authorities to re-examine the evidence and focus more on modern forensic techniques, such as DNA testing and digital analysis. They believe that while the case seems cold, advances in technology and public awareness may one day provide the breakthrough needed to solve it. As the years went by, the mystery of Asha Degree continued to captivate the attention of investigators and the public alike. Despite multiple reinvestigations, new tips, and a growing sense of urgency, the case remained unsolved. The sightings of Asha on the early morning of February 14th, 2000, along Highway 18, remained the only confirmed lead in the investigation. The thought of such a young girl walking alone in the dark, cold night, hours before dawn, haunted everyone involved in the case. One theory that gained traction over the years was that Asha was trying to run away, possibly motivated by emotional distress or a desire to escape a situation at home. However, this theory always seemed unlikely. Asha was described as a shy, reserved child, someone who had never run away before, and there was no indication that she had been planning such an act. Furthermore, there was no reason for a child her age to walk alone in the middle of a rainy, cold night. As the investigation continued, the question remained, why would she leave her home at that hour and walk so far? Investigators began to explore the possibility that Asha was abducted, even though there were no signs of forced entry at her home. Some believed that someone might have been waiting for her on that dark highway, taking advantage of the opportunity when Asha was walking alone. This theory was complicated by the fact that no physical evidence ever pointed to an abduction, and no one had seen Asha with anyone on that highway. But despite the lack of concrete evidence, the idea of an abduction became a central focus in the investigation. After all, a child her age simply disappearing into thin air didn't seem to make sense. In the years following her disappearance, Asha's case gained more attention from the media, and in 2004, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, added her to their list of missing children, further raising awareness. Local news outlets in Shelby also kept Asha's story alive, appealing to the public for any information that could help solve the case. While tips continued to come in, none of them were concrete, and the case grew colder. Then, in 2009, a breakthrough of sorts occurred when Asha's mother, Dr. Asha Degree, spoke out publicly about her thoughts on the case. In an interview, she revealed that she believed someone in the community might have information that could solve the case. Her comments reignited public interest in the investigation. The idea that someone close to the family or someone in the area might have been involved was not new, but it reignited hope that new information could be uncovered. This led to several individuals being questioned, but once again, no leads panned out. As the investigation moved into the 2010s, advancements in technology led authorities to re-examine the evidence. New forensic methods, including DNA testing and digital forensics, were applied to the case. Investigators hoped that advancements in these fields could provide a new lead or a fresh perspective on the case. Despite the passage of years, authorities continue to believe that the key to solving Asha's case was hidden somewhere, and they had not given up hope that new technologies would uncover the truth. The reappearance of Asha's book bag years after her disappearance remained one of the most perplexing parts of the case. The bag, which was found in August 2001 in a construction site in Burke County, had been buried and wrapped in plastic. The discovery, made about a year and a half after her disappearance, raised many questions. How did it end up so far from her home? Could it have been dropped off by someone who had been involved in her disappearance? Why was it buried so carefully? These questions lingered in the minds of both investigators and the public. The fact that the book bag had been found in a completely different location than where Asha was last seen only added to the growing confusion. In 2016, the renewed push to solve the case emerged when new potential suspects came to light. The investigation turned toward possible connections in the community, particularly individuals who might have seen or interacted with Asha in the days leading up to her disappearance. These potential leads, however, remained unsubstantiated, and no arrests were made. Despite this, the search for answers continued, with investigators and Asha's family still holding on to the hope that one day, someone would come forward with the information that could bring closure to the case. As the years continued to pass, the case of Asha Degree remained one of the most perplexing and heartbreaking mysteries. With each new year, the search for answers grew more urgent, and yet the truth remained just out of reach. The theories surrounding Asha's disappearance, which had initially ranged from her simply running away to something far more sinister, began to take on new dimensions as more information surfaced. In 2015, the case took another unexpected turn when new tips came in regarding potential sightings of Asha in other states. The tips, although unsubstantiated, raised the possibility that Asha might have been taken out of state after her disappearance. Some of these tips mentioned people who claimed to have seen a young girl who resembled Asha in various locations across the U.S. These reports, however, were difficult to verify, and none of the tips ever led to any concrete evidence or answers. Nonetheless, the idea that Asha may have been transported or hidden somewhere gained traction and became a significant focus in the investigation. Meanwhile, new advancements in forensic technology continued to fuel hope that the case might finally be solved. In 2019, the FBI and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, SBI, announced that they were reanalyzing the evidence using modern DNA techniques. Investigators began to focus on re-examining old surveillance footage and re-interviewing key witnesses who may have seen Asha or heard anything suspicious in the days leading up to her disappearance. They also revisited the scene of Asha's last confirmed sighting, the stretch of Highway 18, hoping to find new clues or pieces of information that had been missed in previous searches. During this time, a significant shift in the investigation occurred. Law enforcement began to consider the possibility that Asha's disappearance may have been connected to someone in the community or someone who had knowledge of the area. Several individuals were questioned again, and their alibis were scrutinized. The re-examination of the case brought the theory of foul play back to the forefront. Some believe that Asha may have been abducted by someone she knew, or that she had been taken by a stranger who had targeted her specifically. Still, no direct evidence linked any individuals to her disappearance. In 2021, law enforcement made a public plea for anyone with information to come forward. The authorities were particularly focused on local residents who might have seen something or heard something in the years following Asha's disappearance. The FBI even offered a reward for any new information that could lead to finding Asha or uncovering what happened to her. The search for Asha Degree continued to be treated as an active case, despite the many years that had passed. But the biggest question that remained for investigators, Asha's family, and the public alike was, why would Asha leave home in the middle of the night? What could have motivated a young, bright child to walk down that highway alone in the dark, cold hours of morning? Was it an impulsive decision, or was there something more methodical behind it? Was Asha running away from something, or was she simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? In 2023, the case took another twist when new DNA evidence was discovered in a completely unexpected place. Authorities revealed that they had found traces of Asha's DNA in areas they had previously searched. The discovery reignited the investigation, suggesting that someone may have interacted with Asha after she disappeared and left behind critical evidence. This led to renewed speculation about whether Asha had been abducted and whether she had been held somewhere before being moved again. Throughout all of this, Asha's family never gave up hope. Her mother, Asha Degree, continued to speak publicly about her daughter, advocating for answers and calling on the community to help. She said she believed that someone knew what happened to Asha, and she wasn't going to rest until she got answers. The community in Shelby also kept Asha's memory alive, with local events and efforts to raise awareness for missing children like Asha. The disappearance of Asha Degree remains one of the most heartbreaking and perplexing cases in recent history. For more than 2 decades, her family, investigators, and the public have been haunted by the mystery of what happened to a young girl who vanished from her home in the middle of the night, leaving behind only a trail of questions and unanswered theories. The search for Asha has been filled with hope, heartbreak, and frustration, and yet, despite years of effort and the advances of modern forensic science, the truth remains elusive. From the early morning sightings of Asha walking alone on the highway to the discovery of her book bag far from her last known location, the pieces of the puzzle never seem to fit together. Over the years, multiple theories have emerged, each as plausible as the next. Was Asha trying to run away, or did she fall victim to something far darker? Was she abducted by a stranger, or was there someone in the community involved? The mystery deepens with each passing year, and new developments only seem to raise more questions than answers. Her case has inspired both public and law enforcement efforts to find closure, with numerous attempts to revisit evidence, re-interview witnesses, and even apply new DNA analysis to previously collected items. Still, nothing definitive has come to light. As the years go on, Asha's family continues to wait for the answers they desperately need. For them, this isn't just a case on the news. It's the story of their daughter, a bright, innocent child who simply vanished from the safety of her home and whose fate remains an open wound in their lives. Despite the pain, Asha's family has never given up hope. They continue to search for the truth, even as the case slips further into the past. And though many have forgotten, the community in Shelby, North Carolina, continues to hold Asha in their hearts, never willing to let her memory fade. Each year brings new calls for attention to the case, new theories, and new efforts to keep the mystery alive in the hopes that one day, someone will come forward with the crucial information needed to solve the case. The reality is, Asha Degree's disappearance is one of those tragedies that may never have a satisfying resolution. The search for Asha, though, is a reminder of the importance of holding on to hope, of never giving up on those who have been lost, and of the power of a community to keep someone's memory alive even when the world moves on. Until the truth is uncovered, Asha's family will continue their fight for justice, and the mystery surrounding her disappearance will remain a testament to the enduring power of love, loss, and the search for answers. What do you think happened to Asha Degree? Was she the victim of a random act, or is there someone who knows more about this case than they've ever let on? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime stories and updates on unsolved cases. Could Asha's case finally be solved one day, or will it remain an enigma forever? Share your theories with us. We'd love to hear them.